I do just want to start off this video by saying sorry if you're just getting over what was the Willy Wonka experience, because it seems like we got another one. Except this time, it's not based on Willy Wonka, it's based on Bridgerton. Bridgerton, of course, being the Netflix show, and since this Netflix show has came out, there has been a lot of Bridgerton balls. These events that have happened where it's kind of like Bridgerton themed. It's all very regal, you know, everyone gets dressed up to have a good time, and in fact, I actually saw this video from a year ago of a previous Bridgerton ball, so you can kind of see what the expectations are. Okay, so as you can see, I mean, this event looks pretty decent, right? It's decorated quite nicely. It seems pretty packed. There's a bar. I mean, that will be a key thing later on in the video. It all looks pretty good, right? It looks like a good time. You can see they also had performers, like a bunch of different acts. I'm not going to show you the full video because there's a lot of it, but I feel like this is a good example to show what the expectations were with this new event. This new event that has specifically been put on by Uncle and Me LLC. Now, this Instagram account, as you can see, they do like a few different events. It's got this like Motor City Summer, whatever it was. It's like a festival. And then they started advertising this Bridgerton event. Now, I'm not going to play the audio because it's copyrighted. It's just music, but this was one of the videos they showed to advertise it. They never show like what the event specifically is going to look like. They just say Detroit Bridgerton theme ball, September 22nd. But they're showing the venue here, right? It's 3 floors. A pretty big venue. Like, once it's got the decorations in, you could definitely make this look really, really nice. Okay, so you can see why people would be excited. I mean, even just looking at the caption here, it seems like it's going to be a pretty good event. Like, dress in your finest period attire and waltz the night away amid stunning decor inspired by the hit series. Enjoy a night of dancing, live entertainment, exquisite refreshments, and enchanting surprises. Don't miss your chance to be part of the ton for an unforgettable evening of glamour and romance. Now, of course, you'll probably guess at this point, like, by the fact I'm even making a video about this, it didn't end up being a very good event in the slightest. We'll get into all of that, but even just looking at the website here, it doesn't exactly look great, right? It doesn't fill you with hope. There's not very much going on. It's just kind of this picture and then a slight description. But people still bought tickets. And in fact, the ticket prices were ridiculously expensive. As we can see in this article by the Daily Mail, it says tickets for the ball cost a minimum of $150, but some fans spent up to $1,000 on the Duke and Duchess option, which was supposed to come with dinner, orchestra music, a professional dance card, professional photos, and a valet. And in fact, looking at the website, they also had a competition where suitors in attendance will have the chance to win $2,000 cash for the best dressed. So you get the point how they're bigging up this event, what the expectations are. Now let's actually get into the event itself and what actually happened. So this first video we're watching is from Nita. This is someone who actually went to the event and she made a video talking about her experience where she first of all spoke about how it got rescheduled just 3 days before the event.
First of all, if y'all don't know, the event was rescheduled 3 days before it was originally supposed to happen.
And actually, on that note, I saw this tweet from Rachel Eaton talking about the whole event, and she said that she spent $300 on it, as you can see right here, and then later goes on to say that the event was originally planned for August. It was cancelled and rescheduled for September 22nd, and I ended up getting sick and couldn't go. They did not provide refunds, nor did they respond to anyone's email asking for one. At that point, I knew I got scammed. And I've seen quite a few people talking about this, that if they couldn't go to the new rescheduled event, they didn't get refunds for their original tickets. But back to Nita's video, she talks about when she actually arrived at the event, they weren't even checking people's tickets to get in.
They're not even checking tickets at the door, like we don't stay in Detroit.
And we're going to see this pop up a couple of times throughout this video. A lot of people are saying they just didn't check tickets, which, first of all, is annoying if you spend money on a ticket knowing that someone can just get in for free. But also, it's a big safety concern as well. Like, you're just letting anyone in. They're not checking anyone's bags or anything like that. They're not even checking the tickets. That's very worrying. Nita then goes on to say that the event looked absolutely nothing like Bridgerton, there wasn't any chairs for anyone to sit on, all the backdrops were incredibly cheap, and then goes on to show some pictures. So here's the first picture where she's showing that people were just sat on the floor on the phones because they were bored because there was nothing to do. Here's another picture Nita took of people, again, bored on the phones. And for the third time, again, people just bored on the phones doing nothing. She then goes on to show one of these backdrops. She says that this was actually the best set in the whole event, and even this looks incredibly cheap. It's just like this little sparkly curtain on this pole. She takes a picture. Apparently she was kind of rushed out of there. You know, you take your picture, you leave very quickly. Here's another backdrop she showed. I mean, this is awful, isn't it, right? You've got the flowers at the top, but then you've just got a big picture of flowers. Like, could you not have just done this the whole way through? You know, like actual flowers. They could be fake flowers, who cares? But not pictures, surely. And then this is probably the worst backdrop of them all. I mean, look at this. How cheap is that? First of all, this whole place just looks incredibly boring, but I guess it's just a bit in the picture that really matters, right? We only care about pictures. We don't care about the experience itself, but even the picture looks awful. It's just this really cheap backdrop of grass. You could have just got like actual artificial grass to put on the walls so it looks a little bit better. No. It's also at this point that we're first introduced to the orchestra, which is just this poor woman playing a violin by herself. Like, I feel sorry for the people who did the entertainment in this because it's probably not their fault. They probably have no affiliation with the company itself. They were probably just paid to be there, and this is what people got. They expected an orchestra, they paid extra money to see an orchestra, and it's just this poor woman playing the violin by herself. On the other floors, this music was just this massive speaker, and as we'll hear later on in this video, it just turned into like club music instead of like actually Bridgerton themed. Here's another one of the sets. I mean, 2 chairs that look somewhat decent, but then the backdrop's just a white wall. It really is the Willy Wonka experience all over again, but this time by a different company. Like, these companies just put on these events, they use a massive show that's incredibly popular, like Bridgerton or Willy Wonka, and they just use the popularity of that to put on their events to try and make some money very, very quickly, clearly. Nia then goes on to show the people serving the food who aren't, like, dressed in a Bridgerton style. Obviously, this woman's just wearing, like, a jersey, but she does say in a video, like, the reason for this is because this is just a worker from a different part of the venue who's been like, fuck, I need to go and help out here because we don't have someone to do this. So she just rushed over to actually help people out. Obviously not dressed the part, but that's because this wasn't her job. She just rushed over to do it. Nia then goes on to show the dinners, specifically the fact that these plates just didn't get cleared up, that we'll hear a lot more about later. But yeah, the food was just left out and people just started stacking the plates to try and make some room. And then we get to arguably the worst part about this event is the fact that they started playing Soulja Boy and it just turned into like a club and the Bridgerton theme was just shot out the window.
When I was getting ready to go, they were literally in the ballroom cranking the Soulja Boy. I'm watching the girl on the stage like, hey, hey, hey. Are we at the club or are we at a ball?
And then Nita ends the video by saying that it was just a complete scam.
I cannot stress enough that this was a scam. Don't go to another one of their events, especially if they're calling it a Bridgerton ball.
And yeah, from everything that we've seen, she's not wrong. This looks like a complete scam. Some people paid $1,000 to go to this event. It looks like a play you would see in a primary school. In fact, when we had plays at my primary school, I think the sets actually look better than this. Now, going back to Rachel's tweet that we spoke about earlier, obviously in the advertisement, they were talking about how there'll be like dancers there. The dancers, or the dancer that was actually there, was a pole dancer, as you can see by this video, and obviously that's not exactly Bridgerton themed, is it? And I mean, it's not even a set or anything. It looks like just an empty hall with a pole, and this poor woman just having to like perform because she's been told to do this, been paid to do this. And actually on the Daily Mail article, we actually heard from this performer and she said, "This is truly a horror story and I'm just completely awestruck seeing everything that happened. Normally it's not like that. Normally when you go to a show, especially for a circus performer, it's an amazing experience. You get wowed, thrilled even. It's a little dangerous and I'm sad that they didn't get to experience that." It then goes on to say that Tink has been a professional circus performer and coach at Pole Fit for 5 years. And she also said Uncle and Me LLC hired her just 3 hours before the event and asked her to pole dance. So this is why I'm saying I feel sorry for these performers because they're just being told to do this. They're being paid to do this. They're only getting told to do this 3 hours before the event in this case. When I give them the menu, they did pick pole dancing between hair suspension, lyra hoop, and aerial sling. The pole dance is what they went with. A lot of people thought it would have been better if I did hair suspension, she continued. I do know that's a higher price for budget, and I think because it was so last minute, if they had more time, we probably could have had hair suspension there. I mean, the event definitely had more time to organize this. They literally postponed the original one and put it back a few months, so they clearly had more than enough time to organize this, but of course, it is not this woman's fault for being told 3 hours before. She should have been told months before, so she could tell the event, like, this is what I need to be able to do the act, like, you need to set this up, and then it would have went a lot better. Even the silks, that would have been so pretty. Having the fabrics flying around, I think that would have matched the vibe. Tink went on to know that Uncle and Me LLC also selected and approved her skimpy outfit, as I call it in this, a red bra and matching panty. I just feel very bad for all the patrons who showed up to the event, just because my goal as a performer is to bring happiness and cheers to everyone. So it kind of just bummed me out knowing everyone was so unhappy with the outcome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel sorry for Tink because she did what she was paid to do. It's the event's fault for doing this. It's ridiculous, quite frankly. I also decided to look on Reddit to see if anyone else had any more experiences, and a lot of people have spoke out about their experiences. My family and I just left the Detroit Bridgerton Ball. It was absolutely horrendous. There was nowhere to sit. Although the venue was nice, the decor was sparse and extremely tacky. It wasn't even Bridgerton themed. We spent $400 on tickets for a complete bullshit experience. I read that the event company made hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue for this event. I mean, yeah, I don't know like if it'd be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they definitely made a lot. I mean, some people apparently paid $1,000. I don't know how many people went. It seems like from the videos that there's probably less than 100 people there. So I don't know how much money they made, because obviously some people paid like $100, $150, $300. So I don't know. But either way, they made a lot of money on an event that they put no effort into. We went to the Bridgerton Ball in Chicago 2 years ago, and it was absolutely beautiful. We were so disappointed. The last two slides are among the lines of what we were expecting, which is the pictures that we'll get to in a second. This event honestly was so damaging to the Bridgerton brand. I'm so shocked that this was even allowed. Several people were complaining upset with this event. Anyone else go to the ball tonight? Now this user goes on to show more pictures. Again, just looks extremely cheap. This really cheap backdrop. Again, this backdrop we spoke about earlier. I can't get over this. This looks so bad. Again, the flower backdrop, it just looks extremely cheap. This set that looks extremely cheap. This was the massive hall that has nothing in it. There's no decoration in it at all. Like, it's just an empty hall, exactly as they showed in the original video when they hadn't done any work to it yet. And then as they mentioned on the post, they showed some pictures of what they expected. There was this picture, what they expected. I think this might be the same one we showed like on the video, at the beginning of the video. I mean, it looks very similar at least. And then also this picture kind of showing what they expected from the event. Now on the same Reddit post, people were replying with similar experiences, like this one here saying, we showed up at 6:50ish. No one asked for our ticket, so we just walked in. All attendees looked absolutely decked out, but there was zero direction. We essentially followed the crowd to the 3rd floor, and then we saw local freaking vendors selling goods like we were at a local festival. Look, I love Japanese Kit Kats just like the next person, but that's just not Bridgerton Ball. I saw a guy walk by with a sparkling beverage and say, no alcohol. After seeing people sit on the floor in disappointment, my wife and I left. Luckily, we met some other disappointed patrons in the elevator and went to the candy bar where we all had a much better time. And again, we have more people replying saying, my girlfriend and I were there. I'm not even sure what happened tonight. No security, no one checking tickets, which is insulting because we spent $150 each. Dinner was announced 10 minutes before it was served. Again, no direction. People were wandering, and when we got to the front, someone told us we had to go find a clean plate on one of the tables. I mean, this event is a complete disaster, isn't it? I don't drink, but apparently alcohol was promised and there was none. The food was blah, which sucks because the vendor operates in Ferndale, and Ferndale usually does good with food. Highlight of the event was after that we got to the 3rd floor to do one last scan looking for anything redeeming, and there's a DJ. Having people do the cha-cha slide and walk it out like it's a birthday party. Apparently there was a stripper too, didn't see that, but I did see the pole. Wild. Nothing about this was authentic feeling. It was inauthentic, and I'm still laughing about it from home. How sad. Anyone could have put on a better ball with 2 hours notice and a dash pass. Very disappointed with events. Spread this like wildfire. They stole our money. Yeah, I think it's fair to say anyone who went to this event was extremely disappointed. I also found this TikTok from Truly Unique who showed the food, and bear in mind, this food that we're seeing right here, which doesn't look very appealing in the slightest, was part of like a VIP package. Specifically, it was the upgraded royal package. Apparently, this is a royal meal. Also, going back to the Daily Mail article, it says, at the same time, nobody was hired to pick up the plate, leaving it up to the ticket-paying guests themselves to pile up strangers' plates. And even though the organisers had advertised a ball and a sit-down dinner for VIPs to enjoy, what we really got was, it's going to sound funny, Kool-Aid from a bottle, no bar. We had to reuse cups, not enough plates. The backdrops were just paper, it was nothing special. And you remember at the beginning of the video where we mentioned that there was a competition where the best dress would win $2,000? In this article by Hollywood Reporter, it says, besides a lackluster event itself, they promised a cash prize to the best dressed. Didn't happen. And that they choose a diamond of the season like they do in the show / other Bridgerton inspired balls. Didn't happen. Which not only makes it seem even more of a scam, it's also a big shame because people clearly put a lot of effort into how they dress for this event. I mean, I saw this video by Berry Berry, and look how much effort she's put into this outfit, right? And as you can see by the caption, it says, the outfit that I wear at that Scammington event in Detroit. I was ready to be diamond of the season. I left early. And she even goes on to show the wig and says, P.S. I made this wig. DM me if you're interested. Clearly put a lot of effort into this outfit, and they didn't even do the competition apparently. Now we do actually have a response from the organisers after this kind of all blew up and people were extremely disappointed. They don't really say much. I mean, we'll read it here. We understand that not everyone had the experience that they hoped for at our most recent event Sunday night at the Harmony Club, and for that, we sincerely apologise. Our intention was to provide a magical evening, but we recognise that organisational challenges affected the enjoyment of some guests. I mean, yeah, you could definitely say that, but to put it down to organisational challenges, I mean, you postponed it, you had extra time to run the event and make it the best you possibly could. and you failed. I mean, it doesn't even look like you put effort into it. I mean, even if some stuff didn't go to plan, how hard is it for an event company to get like decorations for a place? That is kind of like the main part of running an event, right? Making a place look good. We take full responsibility and accountability for these shortcomings. Please know that we are working diligently to address all concerns to ensure that all guests have the enjoyable experience they deserve. Your feedback is invaluable, and we truly appreciate both the positive and constructive comments shared with us. I haven't really seen many positive, but apparently they've heard them. We are reviewing resolution options, which will be communicated shortly. I mean, surely the resolution option is to offer refunds. Seems pretty obvious to me. Now, listening to people who actually went to the event, no one seems to be offered a refund yet. I saw some people saying that they're just getting like credit towards a different event that they put on. Like, oh, we'll take some money off the next event that we run, which sounds ridiculous. Why would anyone want to go to the next event? But hopefully, especially with all the backlash, they do the right thing and refund people. But who bloody knows? They probably did make a lot of money off this event and they don't want to refund people. It seems like it was a cash grab, so I doubt a refund is exactly on their priority list. But we'll see what happens as this goes on. This is obviously very new. All the articles and all the posts kind of came out in the past like day or so. But either way, I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below on everything that we spoke about. It really does seem like a Willy Wonka v2. But yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like on it, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.